Okay, so we'll just start, and if somebody else joins in, that's fine. I'll let them in, but I don't want to keep you more than 15 minutes or something to just kind of talk about it. I don't know now. Do you know the other people that are on the group with us? Or do you know who they are?
I didn't recognize any of their names. So.
Okay, so we will get together, and even if it's live streaming, I'm not sure, you probably got the email already if you're at home that says we are going to remote learning as of next Wednesday, all of us, the entire school. So if we decide we want to get together before we come back December 9th, we would have to do it this way. It looks like, sorry, I'm going to go back to the restroom just really quickly. I'm still here. You can see me. You just can't see my screen. It looks like you are doing another team as well. You're doing English, correct?
Yeah.
And then it looks like Isabella Alvarez is a question for the English team. And then we have Max Cervantes. He's on two other teams, math and science. And if I recall, Matt, he was on my team last year. He joined at the end, but he didn't come to a lot of meetings. So they communicated via the computer. And then we have a girl named Yara. She's the one who has to work, and she's also on a couple of the other teams. So it does appear that our team has nobody who's strictly art. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't really know, but it is what we have. I'm just was getting ready to find a piece of paper here. I will upload. So have you seen that Mr. Clark has you on? He's got a Canvas page. Or do you know there's a Canvas page?
Yeah, I haven't looked on there much because
yeah, there isn't really much on there, but I have a folder on there now, and I will upload. I had some things that I was going to give you guys, basically just like the study guide that talks about who the artists are, who the musicians are, and the resources they use, because we can go online. Some of it's online, and so you can listen to the music online, and then what books they're using to get some questions. Mr. Clark usually buys, if they have anything available, he buys it for our team that we can share and look at it. I'm not sure if there will be anything available this year or if they'll do it all online. And basically, I just really wanted to kind of get a feel for, have you ever had any art or music background? You don't have to. You don't have to. I'm just trying to get a feel for the team.
Yeah, I haven't really done anything like this, but I have been in band for several years.
Awesome.
I've gone for years.
I can do the art. I'm not as strong on the music, obviously. So it's helpful if we have somebody who knows something about music. Not that you're going to know the musicians or the composers, but a lot of times they'll ask you questions about like how a song is written, or, you know, the beat. And if you know that, even if you have some background, sometimes you can deduce what the answer isn't to narrow it down.
Yeah.
Okay, so were you on the team before?
No.
Okay, were you on the team at the middle school at all?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it's your first experience. Awesome. And I don't know about the others. I do know Max was on our team last year. He came at the end because we had people dropping out. So he joined us. Sometimes if you know information from other subjects, so like what you read in the books, a lot of times there's references to music and art that's going on in the period that has been helpful as well. Okay, and then I don't really know about the other team members. I will post that out there, kind of maybe they can give us a little background. All right, so basically, have you seen the study guide or no? Not at all.
I think I saw it, but I kind of skimmed over.
So there's 8 artists that they're going to ask us about. Art is worth 50% of the thing, and music is worth 50% of the thing. Out of those 8 artists, I would guess, if you know very little about art, there are 2 artists you may have heard of. Georgia O'Keeffe. Have you ever heard of Georgia O'Keeffe? But if you see her art, you might know, because she's a very well-known American painter, and so you might know her. And then the other one is Louise Nevelson. No? Okay, so she's a sculptor. That's another really popular name from the art field because usually there aren't a lot of women. And so if you're in art, those names would stick out because it was odd to have women, famous women. And then the other 6, I'll be honest, I don't really even know myself. Some of them are contemporary. So there's a couple that one was born in like 1969. So she's like in her 50s. There's another one that was born in 1935, but she's still alive. There's a couple that are older. And then we have some from the late 1800s. But there's a lot of abstract expressionism. And so that's good because that one's a little easier to figure out if you don't have art background. We'll talk about what all that is. All right. So in terms of the artists, there's 8 of them for 50% of the questions. So like if we go and there's 25 questions, 12 of them will be about art and it'll be split between those 8. Right now, I haven't seen a lot. Sometimes they'll give you a heads up, like it's going to be mostly about the artist. Sometimes they'll tell you it's mostly about the art movement. I haven't seen any of that come through yet. All right, and then the other half is about music artists. Okay, and there's 14 of them. I know, though, there are 6 right off the bat that I'm familiar with, probably because they're in my time period. But like Joan Baez, have you ever heard of Joan Baez? She was a very popular folk singer in the 60s and 70s. Okay, so I'm going to be able to help you with these 6 because I have some history with them. Aretha Franklin,
Yeah.
the soul singer. Billie Holiday.
Yeah.
Okay, so she was a jazz swing. Carole King, she was from like the 70s and 80s. She's still around. There was just a big old Broadway production about her life. So I know a lot about her. Now, I think Beyonce Knowles, is that Beyonce? Do you know what Beyonce's last name is? I think that might be Beyonce, or I'm assuming it's Beyonce. And then the other one would be Bessie Smith, but she might be too old for you because she was probably like 40s, 50s maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the others I've never heard of, but it appears as I'm doing a little research that a lot of them are composers. I don't know if you know much about that, but it looks like a lot of them are composers. And then the other thing I noticed is a lot of them are activists who use their music to get a message out about injustice or peace or that kind of thing. All right, so the other main thing, because I don't want to go through all this, the other main thing I really wanted to just find out is how do you guys learn best? Some years I've had groups say we should all study it together. That's going to change a little if we're on quarantine or if we're on e-learning for a while. So other years I've had kids say, I want the music, you guys take the art. And so like a certain group of kids were dedicated to the art, a certain group of kids were dedicated to the music. And then we come back and share what we learned together. That works fine as long as everybody gets familiar with all the information, because it has happened that some kids don't show up for the competitions. And if the person who knew art doesn't show up, sometimes that's not the best. Sometimes kids would say, okay, you got 14 artists. There's 4 of us. We'll each take 3. Sometimes they'd say us 2 will split the 14. I don't care how you guys do it. They would create Google Docs that they shared. That's what's been happening the last few years. Kids would create Google Docs and everybody shared to it. Or everybody would create the Google Doc and we'd just pull them together in the folder.
The Google Doc does seem like it would work pretty well. So the competition issue isn't, where one person doesn't show up.
Right. And I mean, at least then the information's there. If you care to learn more than you know, it's there and you would be able to look it over. And a lot of times we don't know that until like near the end that so-and-so is not coming. And now so when you go to these competitions, you can have 3 people at a time at the table answering the questions. So there's 4 of you on the team. It means not everybody's up there all the time. But after the 12th question, they let you switch out. The only person who has to stay at the table is the captain. And we'll figure that out when we get closer, who thinks they want to be the captain. So really, it would just be one person right now. If we only stay at 4, only one person, 2 people would switch out and 2 people would be at the table the entire time. Okay, so my main thing was really to give you an idea that 50% of it is based on 8 artists, 50% of it is based on 14 music people. And then to get a feel on what do you guys think? Are we each going to research everybody? Or do you think it's better to say, I'll do music, you do art? Or do you think it's better to say, I'll take out of, okay, so if we have 22 people and there's 4 of you, I'll take 5. I don't know what's best for you guys.
I mean, it's kind of hard to say right now because I'm the only one here.
Right.
Well,
What do you like best? I'm going to ask everybody what they think works best for them because we each learn differently.
Honestly, I'd be willing to do both or either, but I'm probably more. I probably know more about the
About
music.
music. Yeah, about music, and that's what I would say. If everybody has music, then we're going to have to figure it out. But there might be some people who go, I don't really know anything about music. I'd rather do the art, and then we'll go that route. I think that's the place to start anyway. And then after we get going, we could say, could we change this up or should we do this? Or I think this would be better. Okay. So I told all the girls I would send this out to them. I will send it to Max to get their input. And then what do you feel about, are you meeting every week with your English team? Or
Not yet, because we're reading the book and then we'll start meeting more frequently. So
okay, so I'm not really sure. Like in the beginning, we would meet once every 2 weeks, maybe once every 3 weeks. Doesn't matter to me. It's up to you guys, but I will be able to share with you some of the art stuff and we can maybe listen to some of the music. I can get you some links. I mean, this has a few, but usually there's some links to where you can hear the music they're going to ask you about.
okay.
All right. So what do you feel like? All right. So if we're going to the quarantine next week, what do you feel about the week after we have, that's Thanksgiving week. And they told me my day should be Thursday. So would you like to wait till the first week after Thanksgiving to get back together?
Yeah, that seems fine.
Or is that too far for you?
I think that'll work. It'll give time to kind of.
All right. And then I will put together, maybe what I'll do is put together a little checklist. You tell me which way you think would be best so that everybody has equal input. You tell me, and then I could send out, all right, you're going to be in charge of looking up these people so we can share it. Or you music people get together. This is the person you're going to be working with and you guys can figure it out. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right. So for now, I'm looking at it anyway. It looks like that we'll keep you with the music and hopefully one of the others can do the art. Okay. All right. So that works for me. I've got a couple of things I'm going to post on there. I don't know if it'll be tonight or tomorrow, but in the near future, I will post some things. And then I'm going to send out a little, I don't know if it'll be a Google Doc or whatever, but a little survey type thing that you can just answer some questions about what you think will work. And then I will tell them that we'll meet the first week after Thanksgiving on that Thursday, because Thursday's our day so that we don't have a conflict. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for reaching out and suggesting this because I didn't really even think about this. Okay. Have a great weekend then and look forward to working with you and look for my email.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye.